If in your mind, history revolves around Rome, Egypt, or Greece, it's time to look back at the world map and the gaps that history has yet to fill. An empire that once swallowed 10 million square miles from Asia to Europe. A power that dominated half the world, then vanished as if it had never existed. There are no majestic palaces, fortified citadels, or mausoleums left to tell the story of a great legend. Only a name, still deeply etched into the haunting of history: the Mongol Empire. From the boundless steppe, they rode their horses to Europe, through snow-capped mountains, scorching deserts, glaciers, and jungles, to build empires on horseback. A great storm arose from what the world once considered the margins of the map, turning those distant frontiers into the tremors of a new era. Instead of towering pyramids and massive stone ramparts, their legacy is evident in round felt tents that move with the wind. Bows that pierce enemies from a distance of more than 1,000 feet away, and a cold, calculated military precision that even modern war machines fear. The Mongol army advanced like a flood. They redefined the speed at which empires crumble. Kingdoms fell before even a cloud of dust from their hooves could be seen. They are a walking terror. Victory is necessary. And what makes them so utterly terrifying is not only the boundless expansion, but also the rejection of all symbols of eternity. Unlike the Roman Empire or the Qin dynasty, they did not carve their names into marble or bronze or any architectural ruins, leaving only silence, terror, and the passing winds. For to the Mongol horse, the ultimate goal of the empire was longevity in memory. And memory, if strong enough, will last 1,000 years, overcoming even the strongest walls. But who carved that memory into the course of history? Who was the invisible architect of an empire that shaped the world with an iron fist and an indomitable will? Behind the mythical mist of wandering horses, behind the mysterious absence of great works, emerges the portrait of a man who united a nation and changed the fate of an era. Genghis Khan. He was the architect of the largest land empire the world has ever seen. Yet to this day, not a single soul knows where his body lies. Legend has it that when he died, his funeral procession traveled across the steppe, and anyone who crossed the path was murdered to keep the secret. Then the soldiers who buried him were killed by their own comrades. And then, those who had murdered him were also eliminated. To ensure that this secret would forever be buried in absolute silence. Some say the earth itself swallowed him. For centuries, the question of his resting place has been woven into every map, myth, and modern technology. Drones have flown, satellites have scanned, and artificial intelligence has been trained on every slope and shadow. Of Mongolia's vast wilderness, but all have failed. And maybe that was always the point. Because Genghis Khan, the man who conquered half the world, didn't want to be remembered with stone. He wanted to disappear into legend, so that those who never saw him would never forget him. Where legends begin. He disappeared without a trace, but every great story has a beginning. And the beginning of Genghis Khan was an empty steppe. East of Ulaanbaatar, where the steppe stretches endlessly and the sky embraces the earth, there exists a sacred land that the Mongols believe is the place where fate changes. That is Tsonjin Boldog, a special place on the map, a heart of legend, where the essence of the Tuv steppe is most clearly present. Here, urban boundaries disappear, giving way to the pristine beauty of grass, wind, and clouds, painting a perfect, majestic scene. According to legend, it was at Tsonjin Boldog that Genghis Khan, also known as Temujin, when he was still a lone wanderer, found the fateful golden whip after a fierce battle. This was an omen that he was chosen by heaven to unite the tribes and open an era of conquest. The name Tsonjin Boldog means Hill of the Mark. Forever remembering that historic moment when a simple nomad heard the call of destiny, starting on a path to reshape the world map. It is a place where legends are felt through every breath of the steppe. To honor that great starting point, a monumental complex of Genghis Khan towers over the vast landscape. At 40 meters high, this stainless steel equestrian statue, inaugurated in 2008, is the largest equestrian statue in the world. A majestic symbol of strength and will. Beneath the statue is a modern museum of Mongolian history, an exhibition of nomadic culture, and a tunnel that takes visitors to an observation deck at the horse's head, offering panoramic views of the endless steppe. Particularly in the early morning, the sunlight reflects off the silvery steel surface, creating a stunning cinematic effect, turning Tsonjin Boldog into a magical intersection between Mongolia's illustrious past and vibrant present. Eight centuries later, his invisible legacy lives on, far beyond the endless wind-swept steppes, and through the neon-lit streets he never imagined. The mark of the dead man is still present, blending into the rhythm of modern life, quietly shaping the soul of Mongolia today. Ulaanbaatar. It's the coldest capital city on Earth and one of the fastest changing. Ulaanbaatar is where the old and new worlds meet. The city is a vivid mosaic of contrasts, where modern materiality meets nomadic spirit, where urban grids connect with the eternal echoes of the steppe. More than half of Mongolia's population now lives in this capital, a place that once didn't even exist on maps a few centuries ago. Skyscrapers are rising fast, malls are multiplying, and Western brands are arriving in waves. Yet surrounding the city center is a belt of nomadic settlements, where families still live in circular huts, still burning wood for heat. This is where the pulse of tradition remains strong despite all the waves of modernity. At the heart of the city is Ulaanbaatar Square, a meeting point of the ages. In the middle of the square stands the equestrian statue of Naadam Festival, the revolutionary hero who led Mongolia's independence movement in 1921. Behind him, in front of the government palace, sits the grand bronze statue of Genghis Khan, flanked by Ögedei and Kublai Khan, all of which make up a strong architectural statement of identity, where horse and iron, past and present, empire and democracy coexist in a single frame. The statue of Genghis Khan is a constant reminder of the great Khan who united the nomadic tribes, creating the greatest empire in history, a legacy of national pride. But every step towards the city carries a price to pay. Every year, the Dzud disaster, the harsh winters that devoured hordes of livestock, drove countless nomadic families into despair. Driven from the barren steppe, they sought a fragile survival in the embrace of the city, where gers sprang up as silent evidence of a tragic exodus. Many gers formed spontaneously, illegally, or semi-illegally, creating huge challenges in terms of management and public service delivery. As a result, Ulaanbaatar faced a new problem: air pollution. In winter, the coal-fired heating of hundreds of thousands of homes turned the city into one of the most polluted in the world, forcing people to choose between bitter cold and breathing toxic air. Further afield on a high hilltop, the Zesan Tolgoi monument stood as a historical witness, overlooking Ulaanbaatar and the vast steppe beyond. This is a Soviet-era architectural legacy, celebrating Mongolian-Soviet friendship, with a circular mural inside depicting common struggles. From here, one can see the contrast between modern buildings, vast Jur areas, and beyond, the vast steppes, a panorama of Mongolia of the ages, where imperial, Soviet, and democratic influences blend together. And for a touch of the near but distant past, the Bogd Khan Winter Palace still stands, one of the few remaining royal palaces of Mongolia, home to the last leading lama. It represents a period of independent Mongolia, heavily influenced by Buddhism and royalty, before Soviet influence and democratization changed everything. The palace is a window into the architectural beauty and spiritual depth that once defined the nation. A new era has dawned, but the past never leaves. It still lingers, leaving indelible traces on the current flow with stories that never end. And sometimes those stories run deeper than time itself. It is hidden beneath a giant turquoise on the northern border of Mongolia, a breathtaking beauty that can make one forget what lies beneath the surface. Kuvsgul Lake. Plunging over 850 feet deep and formed more than 2 million years ago, Kuvsgul is Mongolia's largest freshwater lake. To locals, it's sacred, the resting place of ancient souls, the eternal mirror of their ancestors. For centuries, herders have passed down the legend of the Itgul, a creature they say is slippery as wet stone, larger than any boat. Some imagine it gliding with the power of a giant sturgeon. Others are haunted by its eyes, too human to belong to a fish. Some say they have glimpsed its silhouette gliding just under the ice, a mass so enormous it stretches beyond sight. During the Soviet era, whispers surfaced, entire expeditions lost. Herds of reindeer vanished near the shoreline. Even a few boats gone without a ripple, no wreckage or bodies, just silence. Modern scientists have never proven anything unusual about the lake. But GPS systems sometimes fail over its waters. Compasses spin, and campers have reported strange dreams. Vivid, unsettling, as if something beneath the waves had touched their minds. The truth? There is no proof, and maybe there never will be. Long before temples were built, before prayers were written down, the Mongolians spoke to the unseen through wind, drum beats, and the silence between stars. For the Mongols, shamanism is a communion beyond mere belief, an ancient, shadowy, invisible dialogue. However, the door to that world is only open to a few. Shamans do not choose their path. They are chosen spirits. Some say they were awakened by lightning. Others are haunted by strange dreams. When the spirits have named their names, fate is sealed. To join the spiritual flow, they beat drums and chant. They dance endlessly until their eyes roll back and their consciousness leaves their bodies, merging into another dimension. Because for shaman, the physical world is just a small part. The vast universe is full of ancestral spirits, creatures hidden in the darkness, gods guarding the mountains and forests, and countless memories clinging to every wind. That is when they become the bridge, bringing messages from the mortal world to the spiritual world, regardless of night or day, when the spirit calls their name. And if the shaman speaks to the spirit world, then the Ovu is where that world listens. Scattered across the endless steppes and towering over the mountain passes, sacred mounds of stone rise up like watchtowers of the soul. A place where the earthly world and the heavenly world meet. The green prayer silks flutter like butterflies in the wind, carrying messages to the vast sky. Each thread of fabric is a secret echo from the heart of the Mongolian people. No Mongolian passes an Ovu without stopping. They circle it 3 times and offer vodka, milk, and coins. They tie a strip of silk, a kadog, and whisper something only the wind can hear. For the people here, wind is not simply a natural phenomenon. It is the breath of life. It is a secret voice. It is the whisper of the ancestral spirits that have never left. They just gently stretch themselves to the high mountain peaks to forever communicate with the descendants through each passing breeze. To believe in shamanism is to feel it more deeply. To see meaning in every wind, every shadow, every stone shining in the sun. To discover the soul hidden in all things. Although Mongolia has embraced many religions throughout the centuries, this is the original oldest stream of all. More than the light of Buddhism, more than the glorious dynasty. A belief that does not need scriptures but is imprinted on every mountainside and exists forever in the breath of the wind. Before anyone could make out a figure, the sound of trumpets and drums echoed from the distant mountainside. From the billowing incense smoke, figures in silk robes and carved wooden masks. Their movements slow and solemn at first, then wild and unearthly, as if something ancient has awakened. This is Tsam, the sacred mask dance, where the gods descend to earth, taking on mortal forms. Every gesture, every turn, is a moment of immersion, a silent reenactment of the eternal battle between light and darkness, between guardian gods and wandering souls. Tiny bells rang from their wrists, the drums beat like the pulse of the universe. As the dancers spun, their masks were no longer wood and paint, but the very face of the gods. The whole space was shaken by an invisible force. Fear vanished, evil retreated, and the soul found renewal. Tsam is not mere performance, it is a ritual of purification. Each year, before the new year begins, this ancient dance is performed to cleanse the world of its sins, to banish misfortune. As if through every divine step, the universe itself is reborn. At the end of the Tsam ceremony, as the sacred sounds fade into the air, the next journey heads straight west. The road leads to a completely different land, where time seems to have turned back millions of years. From a distance, the fiery red-orange cliffs appear, like a giant wall of fire towering in the vast Gobi desert. This is Bayanzag, known to the world as the Cliffs of Fire. A name derived not from the temperature, but from the fiery red-orange color of the rocks in the sunset. At midday, the cliffs already blaze with a hue somewhere between ember and rust. But it's when the sun begins to fall that this place reveals its true nature. The rock ignites in a fiery glow, transforming the desert into a smoldering sea of molten color. So intense that early nomads believed they were standing before the gates of the underworld itself. But far beneath the surface drama, it is what was hidden in the soil that truly stunned the modern world. For it was here, nearly a century ago, that an American explorer stumbled upon one of the most astonishing discoveries in paleontology. The first intact dinosaur eggs ever found by human hands, nestled in the red dust, untouched for millions of years. They are a powerful testament to an era of giant creatures that reigned and sank into oblivion under the red soil. To walk across Bayanzag is to tread on a graveyard of titans. Bones lie buried beneath every step. Fossils peek through the sediment like the fingerprints of forgotten gods. And yet, among these ancient rocks, life endures. Soaring high on the cliff tops, one will find a living embodiment of the indomitable Mongolian spirit. The Argali sheep. Huge, their majestic spiral horns etched with the imprint of time, they leap over the steep cliffs where not a single footprint can survive. To the indigenous people, The Argali are more than just wild animals. They are the spirits of wisdom, the living embodiments of the majestic mountains. Their eyes silently watch over their land, where past and present merge under the endless Gobi sky, evoking a sense of eternity. Lost capital of the Mongol Empire. West of the cliffs, where the desert gradually gives way to vast grasslands, there was once a city at the center of the world. Its birth came from brilliant strategy, great ambition, and was tempered by the breath of prairie winds. Founded by Genghis Khan and flourishing under Ögedei Khan, Karakorum was not only the seat of a vast empire, but also a vibrant crossroads of civilizations. The city was the terminus of the legendary Silk Road, attracting merchants, scholars, and craftsmen from across Asia and Europe, creating a rare multi-ethnic and multi-religious mosaic. Where Christian churches, mosques, and Buddhist temples coexisted peacefully. Travelers' accounts of the time tell of a magnificent palace with an impressive wine fountain symbolizing the empire's opulence and power. However, like many great empires, Karakorum's glory gradually faded. After Kublai Khan moved the capital to Beijing, the city gradually lost its central position and eventually sank into oblivion, leaving only a few rubbles and faint traces on the ground. The spirit of Karakorum seemed to have melted into the weeds, but it did not disappear. From the ashes of that glorious past, a new symbol has risen, continuing the spiritual flame on the steppe. Several centuries later, in 1586, on this sacred land, the Erden Zu Buddhist monastery was built. The monks skillfully used the remaining stones and bricks from Karakorum to build the monastery like a miraculous rebirth. Each stone, each wall at Erden Zu is not just a building material. They are pieces of memories, carrying the breath of a great empire that once reigned. The monastery is surrounded by 108 pure white stupas. Each stupa is a sacred symbol, creating a spiritual wall protecting the core values of Buddhism and Mongolian culture. Inside the vast campus, ancient temples with curved roofs, sparkling gilded Buddha statues, and exquisite frescoes telling stories of enlightenment attract not only believers but also tourists looking for peace and connection with history. Today, Erden Zu is not only one of the oldest and most important Buddhist monasteries in Mongolia, but also a silent storyteller, preserving and continuing the legacy of Karakorum. A testament to the longevity of culture and beliefs on this historic land. It stands tall, both a symbol of faith and a living bridge between the glorious past and the peaceful present of the Mongolian steppe. If Karakoram is the heart of an empire and Erdeno Zu the soul of a religion, then the Orkhon Valley is the great stream that nourishes them all. Recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site, the Orkhon Valley is the historical cradle of all Asian empires. Here, the epic stories of nomadic forces have indelibly marked the map of power of an entire continent. The Huns once rode here, their banners dancing like flames in the wind. The Gokturks followed, etching their runes into stone. The Uyghurs built cities, palaces, and temples, and the Mongols, the last and greatest storm from the steppe, chose this sacred ground to root their spirit and declare their destiny. Orkhon has witnessed the rise and fall of nomadic civilizations, where ideas, religions, and powers have collided, merged, and been reborn over thousands of years. To walk this valley is to walk on the very pulse of Asian history. A terrain where each step touches the imprint of a forgotten ruler. Each breeze carries the dust of an empire that once believed it would never end. Amidst this great history, an equally majestic natural highlight is the Orkhon, Ulaanbaatar waterfall. Here, the majestic Orkhon River pours down from the volcanic cliffs, creating a spectacular display of water and rock, a sight of wild beauty and also of deep spiritual significance to the local people, as an endless lifeline of the land. Stretching across the vast Mongolian steppe, there is a place where houses have no fences, street names, and fixed coordinates. Yet the nomads have never lost their way in that endless space. Where others need sophisticated navigation systems, they rely on instinct, a familiar tree trunk, a valley, or the way shadows fall at dawn. That is how they know home. Because home, for them, is a deep presence, permeating every breath and step. An essence that exists within themselves and the land. The design of Gyr, timeless through the centuries, is imbued with meaning in every detail. The circle symbolizes the endless sky. The central vent allows sunlight and moonlight to enter, like the breath of life. The hearth, always at the center, is where the fire burns, bringing warmth, the source of memory and the vitality of the soul. No nails, cement, bricks. and yet these homes can withstand blizzards, heat waves, and the grinding weight of time. The gur can be erected in hours and moved in minutes. However, what truly holds them together beyond any crude ropes is the enduring strength of tradition. A gur always faces south, welcoming the dawn. Its internal layout reflects ancient cosmology. Fire in the center represents spirit. The west is for the male, representing strength. The east is for the female, representing life. And the ancestors reign in the north, the source of wisdom. They packed up their lives, loaded camels or trucks, and without hesitation set out towards the vast steppe, called by the sacred call of the motherland. North of the steppes, where the wind carries the scent of pine and the earth exhales frost, there survives a tribe. They live freely, following the footsteps of the reindeer instead of along predetermined paths. The Tsatan, or people of the reindeer, are one of the last truly nomadic tribes in the Arctic reaches of Mongolia. A culture bound not to horses and grassland like their southern cousins, but to the snow-draped taiga and to the reindeer. Their spire-shaped huts, made from wood and hides, rise like soft spires among the larch trees, their smoke curling into the frozen air like breath from the earth itself. Outside, the reindeer stood, tethered not by rope, but by trust. Gentle-eyed, silent, half-wild creatures with antlers curling like frozen lightning. To the Satan, reindeer are companions. They are warmth in winter, transport through snow, milk in the morning, and a guiding spirit in the dark night. Every step of a reindeer through the forest is a blessing, and each birth is a reason for the tribe to stay a little longer in a world that is slowly disappearing. Fewer than 50 families remain, scattered like stars across the remote valleys near Lake Kuvsgul. But modernity presses in from all directions. Climate change, mining, deforestation, and the pervasive influence of the global economy threaten to wipe out not just people, but also a peaceful, ancestral, and irreplaceable way of seeing the world. Yet the Tsatans survive. Their strength comes not from resistance to a changing world, but from cherishing the memory of a time when humans lived in harmony with nature rather than trying to control it. Even before a Mongolian child speaks his first words or takes his first steps, the sound of horse hooves flows through his veins as if the horse is the origin, and all other life is just a continuation. With such an instinctive bond, it is no wonder that before they learn to walk, they learn to ride. The first saddle is not a toy, but a rite of passage, sewn as meticulously and reverently as a cradle. From the first breath of spring to the last breath of an old horse, the horse is a companion on every journey, through every season and every quiet moment. In this land of wind and open sky, horses are treasured with lineage and memory beyond number. Some horses are lulled to sleep with lullabies that are meant for them alone. Gentle, wordless melodies passed down from generation to generation. Others are sent off with solemn, sacred funeral rites, their souls released with offerings of milk and whispered prayers. A testament to the fact that the loss of a horse is the loss of a part of one's own flesh and blood. Every race, every migration, every battle that shaped Mongolia's history was written on the back of a horse. Their hooves once thundered across continents, carrying empires into legend. And though today's cities rise with roaring engines, the sound of horses' hooves still echoes louder in the hearts of the Mongols. In the modern world, horses are often seen as distant, decorative, or ceremonial symbols. But in Mongolia, they remain a vital lifeline, a strong presence like a second heart of each person and the land. Horse culture is deeply ingrained in the blood, shaping the indomitable nature of the Mongolian steppe. But in the harsh West, there is another aspect of this sacred bond: the Kazakh art of eagle hunting. This is an ancient tradition where horses are both companions and part of the wildest hunting dance. More than a way of making a living, this is a 1,000-year-old symphony, a deep blend of humans, horses, and the greatest bird of prey, the golden eagle. From childhood, Kazakh boys are taught how to train eagle chicks. This is not a master-servant relationship, but a sacred bond, a strong partnership based on trust and respect. Each golden eagle is not only a sharp hunting partner, but also considered the embodiment of an ancestral spirit, carrying the wisdom and power of the mountains and forests. To achieve this bond, the hunter must devote all his heart and soul, undergoing years of patient training, from hand feeding to teaching the bird to hunt for real. On the backs of war-hardened horses, galloping across the frozen steppes or vast grasslands, a dramatic scene appears. The hunter in fur clothes, with the golden eagle towering on his arm. The sharp eyes of the bird of prey tear through the mist, searching for signs of life, sketching a vivid picture of survival instinct, courage, and the wonderful harmony between humans and wild nature. When the eagle takes flight, spreading its majestic wings across the Altai sky, soaring like an arrow cutting through the wind, chasing the agile snow foxes or hares, it is a moment of perfect harmony between wild instinct and human intelligence. It is also the moment when the breath of the ancestors' souls seems to blend with the sound of the wind, guiding the hunt. The festival is also a powerful testament to the strong vitality of an indelible identity. When summer spreads a green carpet over the endless steppe and the Mongolian sky opens like a majestic invitation, the whole nation gathers, not for a simple festival, but for a grand remembrance etched into the flow of history. The Naadam Festival, the eternal source of a warrior culture, a sacred reenactment of skills once essential for survival, now legendary. Recognized by UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity, it is an annual event every July. When the steppe is at its most lively, festivals erupt, filled with celebration and affirmation of ethnic identity. Three sports form the backbone of Naadam: horse racing, archery, and wrestling, dubbed the three masculine sports. Yet they transcend gender and even the passage of time. Each is a ritual test of ancestral power, echoing the primal needs of the land itself. Riding is to be one with the wind. Archery is to hold your breath. Wrestling is to master the ground beneath you. On the vast steppe, where the sound of horses' hooves echoed for miles, young riders, barely big enough to reach the reins, leaned toward the horizon like arrows in the wind. The race was not fought around a track, but through the soul of the prairie, where endurance was the ultimate limit. In the middle of the archery range, a sacred space is suspended, as tense as a bowstring before an arrow leaves its bow. Both men and women draw their bows, their eyes moving past the target, searching for the source of tradition, their fingertips feeling the memories of the past. As for the arrow, it flies with a purpose far beyond mere aiming. In the wrestling arena, the most sacred place, two bodies clash with reverent ritual. The wrestlers, wearing robes that reveal their bare chests, move with powerful grace, their eagle-like hand gestures symbolizing the spirit of freedom and the desire to fly. A legend still echoes in whispers. Long ago, a strong and skillful woman once defeated male gladiators in the sacred arena. However, because tradition was so strong that, in order to preserve the illusion of male dominance, her victory was punished with humiliation. She was forced to expose her breasts, creating a permanent ban. No woman was allowed to compete in disguise, and thus the wrestling vests were designed to bare the chest, not for freedom, but to forbid it. But today, women are leading the way in archery, and young girls ride horses faster than the wind. The Naadam Foundation changes with each generation, carving new values into history and continuing the legacy. Here, under the sun that watches like an ancient eye, power is memory, mastery, and movement. And Naadam is where all three return, from blood, from bone, from legend, to walk once more on sacred dust. 17. Kongorin El Sand Dunes, the Singing Desert. In the harsh heart of the Gobi, a majestic natural curtain is lifted. Kongorin Els, the Singing Sand Desert. Here, the golden sand dunes stretch out like a giant sleeping dragon, with dunes towering over 300 feet high and flowing for over 60 miles. And every time the wind blows, they sing a trembling, tragic song, which the locals believe is the voice of wandering souls. In this silence, the sound becomes sacred. On this sacred sand sea, the inhabitants, as ancient and resilient as the land itself, still live diligently. Bactrian camels. With their sturdy humps and thick, warm fur, these creatures are the embodiment of extraordinary endurance. Overcoming the temperature range from minus 40 degrees Celsius in the cold winter to 40 degrees Celsius in the hot summer. Diligently transporting water and goods over hundreds of miles. To the people of the Gobi, the camel is a quiet guardian, a lifeline, and a silent witness to centuries of migration, trade, and devotion. It's so important that the Camel Festival is held every winter, a colorful tribute to the desert's silent icon, where herders and animals parade together in a rare celebration of endurance, patience, and friendship. From the mighty empire that once ruled half the world, Mongolia today may have a different appearance, an empty empire in terms of territory, but full of identity and heritage. It is the indomitable spirit, the love of freedom, the connection with nature that has shaped a Mongolia that does not need a crown, but is still a king of its own identity, a heritage, a present, a future that continues on the land and sky of Mongolia.